Hello, I'm Caede. You've made it to Takayama. Takayama City is located in the northern part of Gifu Prefecture. Much of the prefecture consists of mountains and forest, and even the center of Takayama is a quiet and a peaceful place. In addition to its beautiful cityscape, Takayama is home to Japan's only surviving Edo government office, the Jinya. How did this place, 300 kilometers away from Edo, come to be under the direct control of the Edo shogunate? Let's take a leisurely stroll while looking at the history. The town of Takayama is known as the Little Kyoto of Hida because of its old wooden streets. Hida is the old name for this region. Why is it that this place, almost 300 kilometers from Kyoto, has streets reminiscent of Kyoto's Gion? Japan's tax system was established in 645, and the taxes were paid on textiles and rice. But since Hida province was surrounded by mountains and there was not much land to cultivate, they were exempted from paying taxes on textiles and rice. Instead, Hida had many skilled carpenters, and every year they sent 100 carpenters to the capital of Kyoto to build palaces and temples for 250 to 300 days a year. After learning the latest building techniques, the carpenters came back and constructed buildings in Takayama, which is why the streets look like Kyoto today. I see. In the 14th century, a castle was built on the hill in the southeast part of the town by a warlord named Geki Takayama. As a result, the present town, which was a castle town, came to be called Takayama. The castle was destroyed in the Edo period, and it hasn't been rebuilt. By the way, many people think that the name Takayama is derived from high mountain, but it is actually the name of a person. In 1692, the Tokugawa shogunate suddenly ordered the lords who ruled this area to move to Yamagata Prefecture. After that, the Takayama area was directly controlled by the shogunate. I wonder why. During that time, fires broke out frequently in Edo, and a lot of lumber was constantly needed to rebuild castles, temples, and houses. It is said that the shogunate wanted to control Takayama region, which was blessed with abundant forest resources. So it made the area a direct jurisdiction. I would say that this was power harassment. Until the major restoration in 1868, 25 deputies were dispatched from Edo to conduct politics in the Jinya, which still remains today. I will explain the Jinya in the following video after you go inside. But first, let's take a walk around Takayama. First of all, there is the Kokubunji Temple, which was built in the 8th century by the order of Emperor Shomu to appease the plague that was sweeping across the country at that time. The temple grounds has a main hall, a tower gate moved from Takayama Castle, the only three-story pagoda in the Hida region, rebuilt in 1821, and a large ginkgo tree that is over 1,250 years old. If you are walking from the station to the old town, please make a stop here. It is a very magnificent temple. You'll find it quiet and serene. And then there is the Miyagawa Morning Market. It stands along the Miyagawa River from 7 a.m. to around noon every day. The history of this market is old, going back to 1820 when the mulberry market was held around the Takayama Betsuin temple where the sericulture industry was flourishing. Now the market became a substitute for the townspeople's kitchens. As time went by, the number of stores selling souvenirs increased, and at times there were as many as 30 souvenir stores, along with locally grown vegetables. Many stands sell pickled red turnips and the red-faced town mascot Sarubobo. In the Takayama region, red turnips have been cultivated for centuries. In Takayama, where winters were cold and snowy and fresh vegetables could not be harvested, these pickled red turnips were used as an important source of preserved food. The traditional method to make them is to pickle them using only salt and letting them ferment with lactic acid. Before processing, the red turnips are only red on the skin, while the inside is pure white. During the salting and the fermentation process, the red color of the skin is transferred to the entire turnip, resulting in a bright red pickled turnip. There were no colorant needed to create this reddish tint. I see sarbobo everywhere too. Nowadays, they are black, gold, and blue sarbobos, but the traditional sarbobo is red. The word saru means monkey, and bobo means baby in Hida dialect, so sarbobo means baby monkey. In the old days, grandmother would give them to their grandchildren as handmade charms to ward off bad luck, and they also can be a good luck charm for safe childbirth and happiness in marriage. The reason for the red color is because the monkey's face is red, and the color red is believed to ward off illness. Sarbobo has no face on it because it is a mirror that reflects the heart of the bearer. They are always with bearer, grieving with you when you are sad, and rejoicing with you when you are happy. How about getting one as a souvenir? This region is especially famous for its magnolia miso. I hope you try it at least once during the trip. It is a local dish from the Hida region where miso, green onion, and shiitake mushrooms are mixed on magnolia leaves and then grilled. Hida is a cold region, so in the old days, the pickle barrel would freeze, and to thaw the pickles, they would put them on magnolia leaves and bake them with miso. The leaves are large and work as a sterilizer, and they have been used as a plate and to wrap food for centuries. Nowadays, you can find Hida beef grilled on top of magnolia leaf with miso in restaurants all over town. So give it a try. For meat lovers, I also recommend Hida beef. This beef comes from Japanese black cattle raised in the Hida region. After being processed, the beef undergoes a maturing process that requires thorough temperature control. There are restaurants in Takayama City where you can eat Hida beef steaks, but you can also easily enjoy Hida beef sushi, skewers, etc. as street food. It's a meat that's hard to find outside of the Hida region, so you should definitely give it a try here. I'm getting a little hungry too, but let me show you a few more sites first. Sanmachi is a must visit when you come to Takayama for sightseeing. Walking from the station, you can see the old wooden streets after crossing the Miyagawa River. This area has been preserved as a special district for the traditional buildings. It is said that when the Kanamori family developed the town in the 16th century, they emphasized the commerce and created this splendid town of merchants. Today, the beautiful streets still remain, and the houses from the Edo period that survived the fires still remain. The canal running in front of the buildings was used in winter to damp accumulated snow to let it melt. Then it was placed in such a way that in case of a fire, water could be poured over it quickly. The canals are still used for daily life today. Many of the buildings house 4 craft stores, restaurants, and cafes, but there's one that has a large cedar bowl in front of the entrance. This is a sake brewery. In the past, a new cedar bowl, which was still green, was hung under the eaves of the store to announce the completion of a new batch of sake. Of course, the leaves of the cedar gradually turn brown, so this was a way to let people know how the new sake was maturing. Even now, some breweries still keep those cedar bowls. There are many breweries in Takayama, so please give them a try, but be careful not to drink too much. And then there's the Jinya, the building that served as a local government for 176 years, starting in 1692. More on that in the next video. Now let's talk about the Takayama Festival. It is one of the most famous festivals in Japan and abroad. The Takayama Festival is a general term that refers to the Sanno Festival in spring and the Hachiman Festival in autumn, both of which have been held for over 300 years since the Edo period. The Sanno Matsuri, held on April 14th and 15th, is a festival dedicated to the Hie Shrine for the local deity of the southern half of the old castle town, while the Hachiman Matsuri, held on October 9th and 10th, is a festival of Sakurayama Hachimangu Shrine for the local deity of the northern half of the town. The highlight of the festival is a parade of yatai, which are floats made by craftsmen in the Edo period. These yatai have been in use since 1718, according to the history books. During the yatai hikizoroe, all the 12 yatai in spring and 11 yatai in autumn get together, and the gojunko, the parade through narrow streets, is simply breathtaking. In the evening of the first day, the lanterns of each yatai are lit, creating a fantastic atmosphere. Each yatai is different from the other, and some of them even have marionettes to entertain the onlookers. I've been to see it, and it was really beautiful. Here's a little piece of the Spring Sanno Festival for you. Each yatai has its own kind of parking lot, which can be seen all over the city. Usually, the doors are closed and you can't see the yatai inside, but there are pictures posted in front of the doors showing which yatai is inside. If you want to see what the yatai look like, I would recommend visiting the museum, the Takayama Yatai Kaikan. There are 4 yatai on display that are used for the fall festival. The 4 yatai on display are switched in March, July, and November. Be sure to take a look at the gorgeous yatai. Next to the Yatai Kaikan is a Sakurayama Nikkokan, a 1/10 scale display of the Nikko Toshogu Shrine in Tochigi Prefecture. It was built in the early 20th century, Taisho era, by 33 modern artisans over a period of 15 years. This accurate reproduction of Toshogu Shrine is a sight to behold. You can enter with the same ticket as for the Yatai Kaikan, so be sure to pay a visit. Behind the Yatai Kaikan is the Sakurayama Hachimangu Shrine. During the autumn festivals, they perform a dance here, and then the festival begins. Takayama is small but full of sights. Enjoy a leisurely stroll while eating some good food. Next, let's take a closer look at Japan's only surviving Edo period offshore residence, the Jinya.